Hey, Happy New Year. This is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, real quickly, I know everybody's busy. They're getting their black eyed peas for good luck and they're getting ready to watch the game. But I really wanted to talk to you about the things that I wish I would have known when I was younger, if only somebody had told me about it. So today, I'm going to talk to you about, I like to say, this is for you 20 to 30 year olds. This is what I would have wanted to know had somebody told me about this. And we'll get into a little bit about what I mean by that. But let's look at this topic. The topic is the 7 financial mistakes that 20 to 30 year olds make. I like to say the 7 deadly financial mistakes that 20 to 30 year olds make. So let's start with the first one. Now, I'm in my 50s, and so I think I can speak on this. I haven't always been the financial first responder. I had to bump my head in college and in the military before I learned some of these principles. So I want to teach you, just like I have a 25-year-old daughter, I want to teach you what I'm teaching her, or what I would like for her to know as she goes through this journey between 20 and 30. So without anything left to say, let's talk about number 1, not budgeting. Not budgeting. Not budgeting is a serious problem. It is so serious that it can get you in a hurt bag. Now, why do I say not budgeting? Because most of you don't remember ever seeing your parents probably use a checkbook and balance the checkbook out. And if you did, it was based off of income coming in and cash flow going out, right? Well, a budget is similar to that. Now, budget is real simple. I do have sample budgets that I could give you if you request one. Just make sure you subscribe and like this channel on YouTube and tell me, hey, I'd like to get a complimentary copy of your budget. Okay? So what you have to look at is what you have coming in versus what you have going out. Now, your basic necessities would be your mortgage or your rent, and we're actually talking about after-tax dollars, okay? So this is after you've got your paycheck and it went into your checking account or whatever account you use. So you're getting that money in that account, and now you have to pay the bills. So you have your utilities, and that normally is lights and water. For some people, it might include trash. Some of you may consider cable a utility because it has your internet service in it. It just depends on what you consider a utility. And then you have your outliners, your cell phone and things that you have, because most people don't have home phones anymore. They use their cell phone. And then you look at, you got your car payment, you have your insurances and things that you pay for, your tithes and offerings, or whatever money you actually spend as far as saving. Now, moving on. Second part, they live beyond their means. I know when I was in my 20s and 30s, I had to have a nice ride, and, I was into going out and being with my peers. And if they got something new, I wanted something new, whether it was a stereo system, rims. Maybe you didn't want rims. Maybe it's a subwoofer in the back of your car, or you want to change the height of your truck, or you want to do something to make your vehicle stand out. A lot of times we will put money in things without thinking about what we have responsibilities for. I know as a 20 or 30 year old, I did that a bunch, and I regretted it after the fact, but it sure felt good during the fact. Remember, 2 types of pain: pain of discipline, pain of regret. So Now, the third thing would be neglecting an emergency fund or emergency savings. Now, I like to call this the life happens fund. Because guess what? If you live long enough, and I know you're only in your 20s or 30s, life will happen. Something will happen. You will have a car wreck. You will have a flat tire. You will have something go wrong with your vehicle if it's used and not new. Life happens. You may bounce a check because you did too many overdraws on your debit card when you were out eating with your friends. You didn't think about the amount that you pulled out from the ATM. A lot of things. So this is the things that I would say to my 20 to 30-year-old self. Look, instead of using your debit account, why don't you use one credit card? You have a limit of what you want to spend, and then you pay that card off. That's what I might say to self. Now, we can get more into detail on how to properly do that, but I'm telling you, as a financial first responder, this is the number one problem that 20 to 30-year-olds have. They spend beyond their means, meaning they spend more than what they can pay back. And they don't have an emergency fund. Now, emergency fund, if you're single, okay, talking to you single people, and you have one job, and maybe you have a side hustle or another part-time job, you need to have at least 3 to 6 months times your net, because that's what you pay your bills off of, your net income. So for simplistic purposes, let's say that your bring home is $3,000 a month, okay? $1,500 every 2 weeks, all right? It might even be more than that, but we're just gonna say 3,000. So 3,000 times 6 would mean you would need to have built up your emergency fund to about $18,000, right? And you would only keep that around in case life happens. The flat tire, the engine blows, anything can happen, right? The pipe bust in your house. You have to do some electrical work that was unthought of in your house because you bought an older house. Anything can happen, right? So I have that emergency fund. Now, if you're married, then you just add the two together and then multiply that by 3 months because you have 2 income earners. So you need less if you have 2 income earners. But if you want to do more, right? But at least 3 months if you're married. If you're single, at least 6 months, right? Now, let's talk about 4. 4 is ignoring your retirement planning. Now, one of the problems we have with young people is y'all don't think you ever get old. When I was 20 and 30, if somebody told me about saving for retirement, I look at them like, why do I need to do that for? I got plenty of time. Well, compound interest rule, the rule of 72 we talked about previously. 72 divided by the interest rate, the higher the interest rate, the faster your money compounds. Most of you are in vehicles, savings vehicles or investment vehicles that don't pay a higher return. So it takes longer for your money to compound. And it's going to take you longer to save. And here's the thing. I do know this. If you keep living, you are going to get older and will want to retire at some point, right? And retirement age right now is between 67 and 72. But as people live longer, people are going to have to work longer because they need revenue to take care of them in their later years. So start early, save money, put $100 away a month. That's $1,200 a year. If you did that over a 20-year period and you got a decent rate of return, you'd have over $100,000. But I know that you're high achievers. You 20 to 30-year-olds, you like to do microwave smart stuff. So that means that you're gonna actually do $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year, and that means that you're gonna turn around and in 10 years you're gonna be well off. At least that's what my 25-year-old tells me. Okay. Now, So we talked about retirement plan. That's your IRAs, that's traditional and Roth, depending on your income level. These are the things that you need to do. You need to save in your 401k, your 403b, or your 457, depending on whether you are in law enforcement, military, teacher, nursing, hospital type settings. Most for-profits or 401ks, right? So those are those things that you have the retirement planning going on. Now, let's talk about 5. 5 says not investing. Like, you don't want to invest at all. You're like, hey, I don't make enough money, or I do, but I don't want to spend it on worrying about me getting old. That is not an answer. You cannot just say, I'm not going to invest any money. I always tell people, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. But there's a caveat to that. When you're keeping the money, your money needs to make money on top of money on top of money on top of money, which means you need to find vehicles that will make money babies for you. Okay? We can talk more about that later. Then we talk about 6, accumulating high interest debt. Now, here's the thing. You go out, you find this great card, and I'm not going to name any companies, but you go out and find these great cards, and they say, hey, we'll give you a card. We'll give you a $2,000 card, right? And they give you a $2,000 card, and they tell you your interest rate is 24%. You say, oh, that's great. I got $2,000. And you go run that joker up. Now, the APR, or the annual percentage yield rate or rate, is 24%. So if you had 24% on $1,000, that's $240. Now just multiply that. That's $480 of interest that you would pay. And most of the time, you will not pay that card off in 1 year. So a hack that I would give you is I would say, hey, if you have a high interest rate card, do this. Every time you charge something, keep your money in your account, keep your debit card out your hand, use the credit card if you're going to use it, and then pay it off. And as you pay it off, you show these companies that you're worthy of a lesser interest rate, right? Or maybe you don't have the interest rate of 24%. Maybe you have 18%. Maybe you have 12%. Maybe you have 7%. It just depends. But either way, pay the cards off. Now, let's go a little further. People, you 20 to 30-year-olds, y'all done got out of high school, got out of college, you know everything. Know this. If you neglect your financial education, you are making your life a living hell. There we go. We'll use that word. You have to continue to educate yourself on your financial journey. You cannot say, I got it. Because let me tell you this. From K through 12, they teach you how to count money or the denomination of money, but they don't teach you how to make it. They don't teach you how to save it. They don't teach you any of that. And if any of these courses that do, you took them so long ago, you didn't forgot. So you got to continuously work on your financial education. Do not neglect it. Do not be the person that doesn't have because they didn't do. As my mentor, Myron Golden, says, you got to be, do, have. You have to become more, do more to have more. You become a better student of financial literacy. You do more studying and more questions of your financial advisors or the financial first responder to get your questions answered. And then you have more because be, do, have. You continue to grow over time because you don't make these 7 mistakes we talked about. Now, let's not get it twisted now. People that are older than you, are still making these 7 mistakes. And some of them are a little different. And in the next couple of videos, I'm going to be talking to those people as well. But I wanted to start with you, because we want to make sure that you get a budget. We want to make sure you don't live beyond your means. We want to make sure you're not neglecting your emergency savings or your life happens fund. We want to make sure you're not ignoring your retirement, because just putting a little bit in and then increasing it over time is better than nothing. And then not investing, that's not an answer. You got to invest. You got to invest in your education, in yourself, your skill set, and your money. Accumulating high interest debt, we talked about that. You have to be mindful of the high interest debt that you actually obtain, right? Because some of them are designed so that you never pay them off. And then the last one, the fact that you're watching this YouTube channel and you're actually going to hit the like and subscribe button on here means that you're starting not to neglect your financial education. Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I hope you 20 to 30-year-olds understand that your financial future is clearly up to you. I look forward to talking to you. Have a wonderful and happy new year. And I got to get ready to go get something to eat from the family's house. So I got to go. But until we talk again, God bless. See you later.